Hello, it's Alex, the Bookubus. Today I'm going to be talking about everything I read and watched in October. There's quite a lot to talk about, so I will try and move things along as quickly as I can and be as brief as I can with things, but hopefully we'll still give you a good overview of my wrap up of October. Before I get into it, I did want to mention that I recently reached 7,000 subscribers for my channel, which is amazing, and I am always surprised that anyone would want to be here and watch my videos, quite honestly. I've been doing this for several years now, so it has been a while. Not quite what you would call an overnight success, but that's okay. I am very grateful for, like I said, anyone that is interested in anything I might want to talk about. So whether you are a long-time subscriber or a recent subscriber, thank you for being here. And I look forward to hopefully continuing with this for the foreseeable future. The numbers aren't as important to me as, in the sense that like I'm trying to reach a certain number of subscribers or something. Like I really don't care about that kind of thing. But the most important thing to me is, the amazing people that I have met through my channel. And I'm just really grateful for the friendships that I've made, and just anyone that wants to watch my videos on whatever level of that is just really, really appreciated. So thank you. And I wasn't sure whether to do some kind of 7K celebration, and if so, what that would even be. So I guess if there is something you would like me to do, then feel free to make suggestions in the comments. We will see. And I also wanted to mention my Halloween costume for this year. I dressed up as Monica from Necromantic 2, the underground horror classic that I would not recommend to anyone, but is amazing in its own right. I think both Necromantic films are an acquired taste, but there are things I really like about them, which some people will agree with me and some people won't, and that's totally fine. I, for whatever reason, decided that Monica was my choice for this year, and I'm pleased with how my costume turned out. I hope you all had a wonderful Halloween. Let me know what you got up to, if you wore a costume, whatever. I hope you all had a good time. Mine was pretty low-key, but I enjoyed it. We had a bunch of trick-or-treaters come by, which was really fun, and this year we decided to give out books as well as candy, and that seemed to go down really well. We had just a bunch of like kind of spooky kids books like Goosebumps and stuff that we have acquired from thrift stores and whatnot over recent months. So they cleared us out of both books and candy, so that was a success. And then I just stayed in with a couple of horror films, which I'll talk about in a bit. And October in general it's had its ups and downs, but it has certainly had some highlights, so I will take it. And I guess one more thing, all of this preamble before I actually get into this wrap up. I figured, one more opportunity to wear a Halloween themed item of clothing, and this one is skeletons. And I mean, look at them, they're pretty amazing. They're wearing baseball caps, we've got jack-o'-lanterns, and we've got a bat. I mean, it's just kind of incredible, and I love it. And I found this in a thrift store a couple of years ago, and it is a child's sweatshirt, but I was like, I think I can fit into that, and I can, so it's mine now. Anyway, enough about me and my skeletons. Let's get on to the books that I read, and then we'll move on to the films. So let me bring up my Goodreads and we'll just go through them in the order that I read them. That's probably going to be easiest. So first up, I read They Are Cursed Like You by Holly Cornetto and S.O. Green. This came out I think a few years ago, and it is a witchcraft themed book. If you like the craft, I think you'll really like this. It's about a group of teenage girls who live in a trailer park and long for a better life, basically, and they turn to Wicca, and they also meet this group of women who are in their 40s, and they are part of a coven. And so yeah, these two groups of female friends kind of cross paths, and lots of witchy stuff happens. This was really good. I really enjoyed the writing style. It had some interesting characters, lots of different relationships, like friendship, romantic relationships, as well as family. And yeah, I thought all of that was really well done, and I would definitely recommend this if it sounds interesting to you. I gave it 4 stars. Next up, I read Houses of the Unholy by Ed Brubaker and Sean Phillips. This is a graphic novel, and it is satanic panic themed, which is always a great buzzword for me. I love that stuff, and yeah, it's just fascinating. But yeah, it's about a woman who, when she was a child, was involved in, yeah, that whole thing that happened. And then there's also an FBI agent. They kind of come together to, yeah, try and figure out some current satanic panic stuff that's happening. It was really good. Yeah, I really enjoyed the story, the characters, the art style. Yeah, it was pretty badass, and I gave this one 4 stars. And I hadn't read anything by them before, but yeah, they have done a ton of stuff, and yeah, some of it definitely looks interesting to me, so hopefully I can check out some more of their work at some point. If you read anything of theirs that you would recommend, please let me know. Next up was Mirror of Danger by Pamela Sykes. This is a kind of supernatural-esque story about a young girl. She was raised by, I think it was an aunt, and the aunt dies, so she's then sent to live with some family that she didn't even knew existed, and no one is super happy about the situation. There's a lot of tension, and she also then meets a ghost in a mirror, and some weird stuff happens. Yeah, this was a lot more about the family situation and being accepted into this family rather than the supernatural stuff. So it was not quite what I expected, but it was still okay. Yeah, overall I gave this one 3 stars. It was alright. Then I read a short story collection. This was Spooky Stories to Haunt Your Dreams by Jason Harlow, and he did send me a copy for review, but honest opinion as always, yeah, this was a ton of fun. This was basically like scary stories to tell in the dark, but for adults. So yeah, there is some more adult content here, and yeah, some of it's pretty wild, but I really enjoyed the variety of the stories. Yeah, some I liked better than others, but overall it was a really good time. And then there's also, the author includes like a little bit of backstory for, you know, inspiration and whatnot for the stories, which I always find really interesting. So yeah, would definitely recommend checking this out. I gave it 4 stars. Then I read A Night in the Lonesome October by Roger Zelazny. And this is, yeah, a very kind of whimsical, charming, it's hard to pinpoint exactly what genre it is. Maybe kind of fantasy-ish and mystery. But yeah, definitely October vibes. And there are animal characters. It's told from their perspective. They're all adorable. And there is this kind of ritual thing that is happening at the end of October that the whole story is building up towards. Yeah, this was just, yeah, quirky and charming and really quite unique. I really enjoyed the vibe of it, and obviously perfect for October. So if you haven't read it, I would suggest, yeah, putting it on your list for next October. I gave this one 4 stars. Then I read a bit of vintage YA with The Coven by Kate Tiernan, part of the Sweep series. This is book 2. So this is another, yeah, witchy Wicca book. It's about this teenage girl who finds out she is a blood witch. So she's like a natural witch or whatever, like born into a line of witches. And she meets this guy who is also a blood witch, and obviously they're hot for each other. And yeah, so I guess witchy and horny stuff happens. The first book I read, I don't know, a year or 2 ago, and I was pleasantly surprised with it. I think I gave that 4 stars. It was really good. This one was good too, not quite as good. I think I gave this one 3.5 stars. So yeah, will I continue further with the series? Maybe, but I'm probably not rushing to. Next up, I read Toadhead by Andrew Lyle. This is a novella that just came out earlier this year. Andrew is a fellow YouTuber. I will leave his channel linked below. You should definitely go check him out. He's a huge horror fan and a talented writer. Like, I've read a couple of his short stories and really loved them. So when I heard about this coming out, I was like, well, I definitely want to get my hands on that. And I'm really glad I did, because this not only ended up being my favourite book of the month, but yeah, it's definitely going to be in my favourites of the whole year. Yeah, this is a short book, but there's definitely plenty going on in here. It was definitely my cup of tea. It's weird and disgusting and yeah, just brilliant. This is set in the 1950s, and it's about this middle-aged guy who wakes up one day with a toad on his head, and the toad has demands and he carries them out. Yeah, this one definitely has some like Ed Gein and Psycho vibes. Yeah, there's a disturbing mother-son relationship. We've got corpses and yeah, all sorts of dark and disturbing things. This definitely does get pretty disgusting at times. Like, there were times when I literally winced, cringed while reading this, because it was really messed up. And there is some harm to animals, just as a heads up. But yeah, this was just fantastic. It was, yeah, really well paced. It does have humour as well, which, yeah, just kind of really draws you in, and it made it super readable. Yeah, this was just fantastic. Can't say enough good things about it. I gave it 4.5 stars. So you know it's going to be on my favourites of the year list. It was a wild ride, but yeah, if it sounds like your cup of tea, then I definitely recommend it. Next up, for a bit of a change of pace, I went back to some like middle grade YA. I can't really tell what this was exactly. Vintage literature. This is The House on the Hill by Eileen Dunlop. Apparently she is a Scottish author, and this story is actually set in Glasgow, which is really cool. And yeah, it's about this young boy who, his mother has to travel somewhere for work, and he ends up being sent to live for a period with an estranged relative who lives in the titular house on the hill. And there's also another relative, I think it's a cousin of his, who he also doesn't really know, that is currently living there. And there are some supernatural goings on in the house. Yeah, this was a really pleasant surprise. I had no expectations from it, but it was wonderful. The writing style is really evocative, and yeah, while it is a children's book, it isn't like super simple language. It definitely doesn't talk down to the reader, and it also not only has like wonderful descriptions and stuff, but it does tackle some pretty heavy subjects. We've got the main character is dealing with like the death of his father, and there is also, yeah, just a bunch of like family stuff that all of the characters are dealing with, like kind of like family history, family secrets, like ghosts of the past kind of thing. And one thing I really liked about this was part of the story involves photography, which I always love when stories, especially horror stories, involve that kind of thing. Because yeah, I love that. And this one has, they have some photo sessions in a supernatural manner, which is just always my vibe. So this was wonderful. I would highly recommend tracking it down. And yeah, if I stumble upon any other books by this author, I will definitely snap them up. I gave this one 4 stars. Then I read The Ghost of Windy Hill by Clyde Robert Buller. And yeah, this is just a very short children's book. It's about a family who move into this supposedly haunted house to prove or disprove whether it is haunted. And this was okay. I didn't love it, but it was all right, and it was really short. And yeah, I don't know. The story just didn't really grab me at any point, I guess. The writing is very, very simple, which is fine. But yeah, I don't know. I just gave this one 3 stars. Okay, only 2 more books to talk about, and they were both awesome, so yay. Deadly Detention is one of them, by Eric Weiner. This is some 90s YA horror, which we all know and love, and yeah, what a great cover. And the contents did not disappoint. So this is about a group of teenagers who are held back at detention, and the teacher that is taking care of detention is like the most hated teacher in the school. Like, he has issues and no one likes him. And yeah, it seems like he is maybe keeping them hostage in the school and wants to track them down one by one and kill them. So yeah, it's kind of got some slasher vibes. Yeah, this is kind of wild. The kids do not hold back from, like, I guess, I don't know, being teenagers of the 90s. So yeah, maybe some stuff hasn't aged super well, but overall this was a very fun time. Yeah, it has some gnarly kills, and yeah, this is my second book by Eric Weiner, and I've enjoyed them both, so I definitely need to track down more of his books. If you've read anything by him, let me know. But yeah, 4 stars. Oh, and also, when I finished this, in the back, I realised it had, well, so this is a Pinnacle publication, and in the back I always love looking at the things in the backs of vintage horror paperbacks and like which books they're promoting. In this one, they're not promoting any other YA horror. They're promoting like just adult horror paperbacks, which is kind of wild, because in here they've got Haunted by Tamara Thorne, First by Michael Sicilioni, which I just recently read with Brian from Bad Taste Books, and The Haunting by Ruby Jean Jensen. And I've read the first 2, and there's definitely some adult content in them, especially First. My God, yeah, the audience that this book is meant for should not be reading. So I thought that was hilarious. And then the other thing, I don't know if you'd be able to read that anyway, but the other one that they're promoting is a bunch of William W. Johnstone books, like his horror books. So absolutely wild decision making over at Pinnacle here in the 90s. I love it. Okay, and the last book I read was Childgrave by Ken Greenhall. This was like the one I was probably most anticipating, and I did really enjoy it. Yeah, it didn't disappoint. This was another 4-star read for me. I've read a few of his books and really enjoyed them, so that's why I was looking forward to this one so much, and I saved it for the end of the month. And I didn't quite finish this in October. I actually finished it today. I'm filming on the 1st of November. So yeah, I finished it this morning before I could film this video. But yeah, this one is, yeah, very quiet horror, very slow burn. It does take a while for kind of things to really get going, but it's about a guy who, him and his young daughter live in New York City, and with their kind of like nanny, and he's a photographer, so again it was, yeah, just really cool to have that as a big element of the story. And basically he meets this mysterious woman who he becomes infatuated with, and she is a harpist, and so there's a lot of like musical stuff, especially early on in the book, as he is kind of visiting, like he's going to the opera and stuff, and she's, yeah, playing in the orchestra, and yeah, he becomes obsessed with her and is like trying to figure out how to pursue a relationship with her. And then his young daughter is also like basically wants her to be her new mother, because the mother has died. And so yeah, it's a whole kind of like situation. And then we introduce the supernatural element. So yeah, there's some ghostly stuff going on. It is quite creepy. And yeah, I really enjoyed how he wrote about that. And then the story also develops into some other things, which I won't like specifically spoil, but just to give you a few kind of keywords. Yeah, we've got like small town horror. We've got like religion, like maybe more cult-like religion, and traditions and rituals. And it's also about love and infatuation and sacrifice. Yeah, I really enjoyed this one. Like I said, it's a very slow burn, probably too slow for some, but I really liked it. It definitely has some unsettling things going on in here, which I really enjoyed. I love his writing style, and yeah, I don't know. I just finished it this morning, so I guess I'm still kind of processing my thoughts. But overall, I'm really glad I read it. I really enjoyed it. I gave it 4 stars. Would definitely recommend. I think I actually only have one more of his books that I need to get. Well, of his fiction anyway. I know he wrote one non-fiction book too. But yeah, The Companion is the only one of his I don't have and haven't read. So I hope I can get my hands on a copy one of these days and give that a read. And then, yeah, I don't know, maybe at that point I'll do a Ken Greenhall video talking about how much I like his work. But yeah, hold that thought. I think that was all the books I read. So yeah, quite a decent month reading wise. Definitely can't complain. Okay, now moving on to all of the films I watched. I watched quite a few. I haven't actually counted how many, but yeah, I'll start off with the ones that were in my official watch list. So The Cat and the Canary. Yeah, this is from 1927. Black and white silent film. Yeah, this was really fun. Yeah, spooky. Loved the visual style. I gave it 3.5 stars. The House That Dripped Blood. This is, yeah, a fun British horror anthology from the 70s. What's not to like, honestly. Yeah, that was also 3.5 stars. Children Shouldn't Play with Dead Things. This is one I've been meaning to check out for a while. It didn't quite live up to expectations, unfortunately. It was just pretty slow and not super engaging. It did build into something quite brilliant, but it just kind of took so long to get there. So I gave this one 2.5 stars. The Boogans, another one I'd been meaning to check out for ages. This was okay. Yeah, kind of a fun creature feature, although it doesn't really feature the creature that much. That was kind of a tongue twister. Anyway, it was okay. It was a fun time. There's a dog in it that's in quite a lot of scenes doing cute dog things. I gave it 3 stars. Silver Bullet, werewolf story, written by Stephen King. I have not read the story, but yeah, this is one I'd heard good things about, and yeah, I enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. Yeah, it was cozy and fun. Yeah, it definitely had some good gory moments in amongst it, and yeah, it was a good time. I would recommend it if you haven't seen it. Transylvania 65000 was another kind of letdown. It's a comedy, but it just really wasn't very funny, and yeah, also just not super engaging. Yeah, I gave it 2 stars. Lady in White, which was a rewatch for me. I had only seen it once before at a sleepover when I was quite young, and I remember it being a bit spooky. And yeah, this has a supernatural element, and yeah, it definitely has some cozy autumnal vibes. Like part of it takes place at Halloween, which was really cool. Yeah, story-wise, it's a bit long and a bit kind of convoluted. It's actually pretty dark because it's about like a child killer. So yeah, I'd forgotten about that entirely. But yeah, I still quite enjoyed it. I gave it 3.5 stars. The Crow, which is a film I saw like a million times when I was a teenager and was obsessed with, obviously. Hadn't seen it in quite a while though, and had been meaning to revisit it. I'm really glad I did because I loved it. I think it holds up really well. Maybe it's just the nostalgia. I don't know, and I don't care. I loved it. It was wonderful. It was, yeah, it's sad, but it's also badass, and it was just great. So 5 stars all day. The Haunting Hour, don't think about it. This is an R.L. Stine thing, and yeah, this was cute and fun, very goosebumpsy, so if you like that, I would recommend checking this out. I haven't seen any of the other Haunting Hour. I assume it's a series of movies. I don't actually know. I didn't look it up. But yeah, like I said, this cute, fun, spooky. It was, yeah, perfect for the season. I gave it 3.5 stars. The Third Saturday in October and The Third Saturday in October Part 5. I double billed it, obviously, on the third Saturday in October because that is my idea of a fun time. And it was a fun time. Yeah, these are slashers. They just came out a couple of years ago, but they pay homage to, yeah, the golden age of slashers, and they do a really excellent job with that. These are low budget films, but you can tell there's a lot of passion involved in the making of them, and yeah, I just really love them. They are, yeah, kind of quirky and funny, but yeah, they just have some gnarly stuff happen as well, like some good low budget gore, And yeah, these were just a really fun time. Definitely would recommend watching them as a double bill. I gave them 3.5 stars each. They were a fun time, would recommend. Okay, and the last two on the official watch list were two Halloweeny ones that I actually watched as a double bill for Halloween night. So Out There Halloween Mega Tape. This is a follow-up to the WNUF Halloween special. Yeah, this was a really fun time. Yeah, it's like meant to look like a TV broadcast from, I think, the early 90s, and then has like adverts in between and stuff. Yeah, I think the attention to detail, the humour, and yeah, just the production as a whole of making it seem authentically of that era is really well done. It was a good time. I kind of waffled between a 3.5 and a 4 star for this, but what the hell, 4 stars. And then also VHS Halloween, which is the latest VHS installment in the horror anthology franchise. And yeah, this was a fun time too. Yeah, this had some dark ones actually, but also yes, just some kind of creative, quirky, humorous ones. Yeah, overall it was a really good time. Yeah, 3.5 stars, just because yeah, some I liked more than others. But yeah, those two made for a really good Halloween double bill for sure. But yeah, I did watch several other films. I don't know how I managed to fit that many films into 1 month actually, but I guess I just haven't really been doing much else with my time. I'm pretty boring, honestly. Anyway, I watched the Tron trilogy. So rewatched Tron and Tron Legacy. Yeah, I'm just a big Tron fan. I don't know, it's really nostalgic for me, and I remember really enjoying Legacy when it came out. Yeah, it was really fun to revisit these, had a really good time with them, and then went to see the new one, Tron Ares, at the cinema. I went in with low expectations, I'll be honest, because it hasn't been well reviewed. I really enjoyed it. I thought it was a really good time. Yeah, not a fan of Jared Leto for reasons, but whatever. I thought the rest of it was great. I really enjoyed it, so was pleasantly surprised. I gave each of them 4 stars. Yeah, I think having rewatched the other two definitely kind of helped get into the mood for the new one, and just yeah, kind of refresh my memory on details of the characters and stuff. And yeah, I think each one definitely has like a different kind of vibe to it, but they're all really good in their own separate ways, and yeah, with continuing the story as a whole. So yeah, I really enjoyed watching all 3. And then let's not forget about Jalloween, which was a weekend celebration of all things Giallo and Italian horror. And Kelsey very kindly kind of added this in as like a special weekend for her epic Halloween-a-thon. And yeah, she also very kindly hosted some watch parties for us, which were an absolute blast. So yeah, I was able to tune in for 4 of them over that weekend, which was a really good time. 3 of them were rewatches for me. That was Eyeball, Suspiria, and Stage Fright. But I love all 3 of those, like definitely some of my favourite films of that kind of genre. So it was super fun to rewatch them, and definitely to rewatch them with a group of people. Yeah, absolutely great. And then the one that I saw that I had not seen before was Mill of the Stone Women, which was great. I really enjoyed that. Yeah, that's horror rather than Giallo specifically, but it's got some great gothic atmosphere, and yeah, just visually looked gorgeous, and it was a vibe. I really liked it. I gave it 4 stars. So that was a fairly epic wrap up. If you're still watching, thank you for sticking around. But yeah, like I said, overall it's been a fun month reading and watching wise. Let me know if you've read or watched any of these. I would love to hear your thoughts, or yeah, let me know if you have any standout favourites that you read or watched in October. And yeah, I will sign off for now. Thank you again for 7K, and thank you ever so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and hopefully I will see you again in my next video. Bye.